Oi! So this is a video for anyone who wants to know if thistle hardwall can be used as a finishing plaster, which is a little bit weird.
And the short answer, ladies and gentlemen, is yes, you can. Hey, good news. At least in my humble opinion. Now, if that's all you wanted to know, you've probably pressed stop already, but if you wanted a little bit more, I'll give you a little bit more. So, how did I get into this ridiculous situation in the first place? Well, it's a very long story and I'll spare you the details, but the multi-finish that I was going to use had gone off and I didn't realise until I had obviously already started, so I ended up with a half plastered ceiling. In order to make it all up to the same level, I did the other half with thistle hardwall that I found. Now, if I'd have been a bit braver, and in retrospect, I would have done the other half of the ceiling with the hardwall straight away, and then I would have done a second coat over the lot straight away. And I think I probably would have got away with that a lot better. But I didn't do that. I simply did the second half of the ceiling with the hardwall, thinking, well, at least it's an undercoat, if you like. What you're watching in the background is me picking up from the point where I've got half a ceiling of multi-finish, half a ceiling of hardwall. And you see at the beginning of the video me painting it with PVA glue. I did read somewhere that hardwall was very thirsty, so I put a coat on, left it a couple of hours, waited for it to go tacky, and then put the second coat on, and you're watching me put the second coat on at the start of this video. Now, for some bizarre reason, I don't know why, inexperience I suppose, I didn't mix up nearly enough of the hardwall for the first coat. A bit of a schoolboy error, but there you go. It then turns out I ran out of hardwall as well when I was halfway through the second coat, which was a real pain. So I ended up putting the second coat on really far too thin, and there were some spots and patches where there just wasn't enough plaster to get a nice smooth finish, and I couldn't push it around anymore. So my solution to that, which was me going out on a bit of a limb, but it seemed to work really well, was to get some of the multi-finish, which I knew by that point was going to go off really quick, but I mixed it up incredibly thin and just dabbed it into what was now getting to be quite a dry hardwall, and then with a very wet trowel scrape it into the holes, not adding any thickness but just pushing it in, and that really worked very well indeed. Now, you've probably guessed this by now, but I'm not a plasterer. I'm a DIYer at best, and this video is aimed at people like me who do DIY. So here's a few observations I made at the time about how it feels and how the hardwall kind of handles ever so slightly differently from the multi-finish. Here we go.
And I must admit, I'm finding the sound of it very important. I mean, I am a musician, so maybe that's why, but if it sounds, then I tend to stop and re-wet the trowel, and then it slides better. Yeah, see, that sounds okay. Yeah. So it should sound like this. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, that's too loud. Now in the bucket, this hardwall stuff doesn't seem as smooth, doesn't seem as buttery as the normal stuff. You can probably see. Alright, so the first coat's on, and it's really interesting because when it goes on, it's a lot, well, it's not a lot, it's just that little bit stiffer in the multi-finish. It's just a little bit less smooth, and it's a little bit louder, that scrape. And this is interesting, this is the first bit I did. Before I put the second bit on, I came over and smoothed it, and it feels like it, at that point it felt like it was going off a lot quicker than multi-finish. Not like it's wrong or dirty or anything, but not usual. But coming back now, it feels alright. So that's interesting. So far so good, I guess.
Lastly, this is a couple of shots taken a few days after when it started to dry. This particular shot is just hardwall. That is an area that I didn't need to do any filling with the multi-finish, and you can get an idea from that, hopefully, of the sort of finish I got. It isn't quite as smooth as multi-finish. It's more like 800 grit sandpaper, whereas multi-finish is usually more like a sort of papery kind of feel, but it's certainly flat enough for me. So I hope that's useful. If the COVID-19 situation carries on for much longer and you need to plaster a ceiling, you can get hardwall in the shops quite easily. It's only the multi-finish that they seem to have sold out of. So hopefully this has given you a little bit more confidence to give it a go. Good luck and thank you for watching.